Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy90 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we're here for my F1 2019 career modes, here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And yeah, hopefully you guys are interested in today's video. But anyway, if you haven't seen the previous episodes, obviously I recommend you go check those ones out before you go ahead and watch this one. And without further ado, we're going to get straight into things. First of all, before I get into it, obviously the 3 upgrades that we did make, which failed in China, have all now been put onto the car and are here for Azerbaijan. But I need to make a quick disclaimer. So with this recording, there was a lot of corrupted footage. And when I mean a lot, yeah, there was loads. So for this episode, there is no replay cameras, and also there's a lot of parts in the race whereby I've had to cut some stuff out. For example, at the start, like I started the race, you'll see it anyway, I start the race and I have to sort of skip to a braking zone, and there's a bunch of other things. It was an absolute pain. I did obviously have to I just had to make do with the footage that I did have, and obviously I'd already skipped on to the next race and there was enough footage that I could use. So yeah, just want to put that disclaimer out there. Moving on then into qualifying itself. So first of all, my first lap was terrible, and then Kubica here comes out of the pits, and it was absolutely dreadful. I was nearly 3 seconds off the pace, and once again my qualifying woes just kind of set in stone once again for me, and yeah, I just sort of had to work with what I had. I eventually then decided to skip on further into the session and just give myself the opportunity to go out again and set another lap. And as you can see, I'm doing just that here. And what I didn't actually realize is that there was some rain forecasted, and you can see it just there. And as I skip on through, I was actually on my phone at this point, which is why I didn't actually take into consideration the rain period. So by the time I went out there and I put no fuel in my car, I was sort of, not really paying attention. You can see that Norris doing a good job, but I was 3 seconds off the pace. I needed to find some time. And as soon as I then obviously went out, you can see here now, in just a second, the rain is now falling, and that has pretty much just completely screwed me over. So as you can see there, I am now down and pretty much out of qualifying, and I'm going to be starting last. Is pretty much like the highlight behind this. I did obviously go out and just see what the track conditions were like, put the car into all the juicy good bits, and just tried to see if I could potentially get a lap in here that would be worth something. But as we go down onto the start finish right then, and let's see how this lap goes then in towards the first corner. We're about a couple of hundreds down. You can see now about just about matching the time, and we hit the wall and smashed our front wing, and that was qualifying over and over. Just like that. So for the second race in a row, we're going to qualify P20, and for the third race, for this entire career mode, we have not got off the back row. So yeah, our qualifying woes continue here in Azerbaijan, and I can just only hope that the race is going to go my way. But at the end of the day, it's just not going to be, is it? It's such a bad car. But anyway, credit to Lando Norris, he did manage to get out of Q1, qualified P13 there, and Devin Butler doing a great job, or shall I say Devin Bulsack doing a fabulous job there up in wherever position he was, but it's only Q1, so don't take much of that for the Bulsack boy. Yeah, you can see a couple of drivers getting through on the medium tyres, Hamilton, Bottas and Gasly, those being the exceptions, but there is how our qualifying went. Pretty terrible display. Let's just see if we could try and improve anything for the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition, but Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience, but some of these guys in Formula One have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Devon Butler and Leclerc, Gasly, Perez, Magnussen and Lucas Faber, Ricciardo, Norris, Kimi Raikkonen and Grosjean, Hulkenberg, Russell, Robert Kubica and Alexander Albon, Giovinazzi and Thomas. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, so we are here then for the Grand Prix itself, and as you can see, we're going to be starting on the mediums and then go into a set of the hard tyres to finish off this Grand Prix, and that is going to be the strategy there. So as you can see then, just sorting out the fuel loads a little bit, and as I said then, 65 place grid penalty, because we took a bunch of components. It's 5 red lights, and it is now whenever lights out. There you go, here to start this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. As we make our run down towards turn 1, I have my first bit of recording corruption right here, so as you can see, it skips nicely there in towards the first corner, and like I said, there's nothing I could do about it, so you're going to see skips in this video, because I had to just skip where it had been corrupted. As we now go down in towards turn 2, so here, having a look at George Russell on the inside there, and as we now make our charge against Nico Hulkenberg and Kimi Raikkonen just up ahead, so you can see we go into rich mixture, and then as we go in towards that corner, that was a little bit bargy there between myself and Kimi Raikkonen, but now we're going to go to the inside here on turn 4 on Kimi Raikkonen, and we literally just drove the car as wide as possible to confirm that overtake. But we're now up into P14. Decent start for us in this race, as unfortunately, like I said, we've had to skip a couple of bits out because of some recording problems. I can confirm that the reason for the recording issues is because I had so many videos recorded that they were still stored in my Elgato, like the editing section file. Like, you've obviously got the recording section, and then obviously you've got the other part of the part where you can capture your footage. So in that scenario, I was just, a little bit clumsy on that behalf. Moving on though, onto the end of the first lap here, and unfortunately, this is where my race sort of just went a little bit wrong. As you can see here, Hulkenberg completely breezes past. I was in overtake mode, but I actually used too much ERS on this first lap. So I sort of I didn't have any. So I had a little look here in towards turn 1 on Hulkenberg. I tried it, but unfortunately, it just didn't pan out. But at this point, I was a little bit hot under the collar, it must be said. I hated the practice session. I was really frustrated in qualifying as well. In this race, really, I was just, on irate, really. And as you can see here, Hulkenberg now goes for another attack on us here as we go down in towards turn 3 here. Can we make this move stick or stay in front of Hulkenberg? We're just about going to stay side by side, but we do confirm the position there on Hulkenberg as Lando Norris there in P14. That's not a good sign when you see the McLarens P14 and P15 here at Baku. It just shows how bad we are in a straight line and how much we need to improve if we are going to be up there fighting for the higher end of the points in the midfield team. But as we go on to lap 2, then start lap 3, Vettel sets the fastest lap of 143.4. My fastest lap so far is a 154.8. So yeah, pretty good stuff there. But obviously we're going to get a representative time of where we are, as Hulkenberg now just breezes past me there. Literally didn't even need to use anything. And that confirms the pace differential there, as Hulkenberg locks up in towards turn 1. We have a look there, but it's not close enough, I'm afraid. But as you can see, I set a 147.2 and Vettel was in the 143s. So I'm a good 4 seconds a lap slow around here, which is fantastic. I don't know if it was down to setup or if it was down to just overall performance, or if it was the AIs at Baku, but like, I don't even have any enthusiasm at this point, because now I'm being overtaken by a Williams car, and I outbroke myself here, nearly went into the back of Hulkenberg there, but I just wanted to basically avoid the embarrassment as I just tapped the back of Hulkenberg there. He, the back end slides on me ever so slightly there, as Russell now tries to have a look around the outside here, in towards them at the end of the first sector, but it's not going to pay off for him on that occasion. And yeah, Hulkenberg just cleverly defending the line, caught me out actually, and then that obviously George Russell tried to find a way past. Speaking of George Russell trying to find a way past, didn't actually take him that long, because here he comes, lap 3, start lap 4, breezes past, absolutely no effort whatsoever for George there, and he can just carry on his way in P15, whereas I drop now down to P16, and yeah, my race just goes from bad to worse to where it wasn't actually going bad in the first place, so I would say that it was going worse to even worse. But as you can see now, I'm using the DRS here on the lap, on this lap here, as I've got it now on George Russell. We're closing up to the back of the Williams car here, and as we go in towards this turn 3 section, he does brake a little bit early, and like I said, I just lost my cool at this point. I was just going for any overtake I possibly could, and yeah, you know, I probably shouldn't, but in some occasions as well, I kind of needed to, just to try and secure my positions here as we now go in towards the lefts and the right-handers. Lap 5 now to start lap 6, and as you can see here, this is where it doesn't get any much better for myself. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Because now we've got Russell still closing up onto the back of us. We are setting personal best in terms of my lap so far. We're personal best first in middle sector here, as George Russell now comes breezing past and in towards turn 1. Russell, for some reason, the Williams car brakes really early into every corner. I don't know why, but it just does, as Ricciardo has dropped behind my teammate Lando Norris in the process here. I still can't even get above or below the 147 mark. So my pace is still terrible as George Russell now tries to come back at me again now, as you can see here with that Williams car and the DRS, and it's not going to work on that occasion. Obviously the Williams car really slippery in a straight line, it's just rubbish everywhere else, but unfortunately I was just rubbish everywhere else. However though, on to lap 7 of the Grand Prix, some good news to report from the land of the McLaren car in Baku. I found a race car in front that I can attack. It's Daniel Ricciardo here, and he looks like he's dropping back a lot here in this race. And as we go now in towards this final sector here, look how much we've closed up in the braking point here. So Ricciardo definitely has an issue now. As we go to the inside line, Ricciardo defends off the inside line there. Now we're going to switch it to the outside line, try and make that one work for ourselves in here. And Ricciardo shoves us a little bit wide as we now go through in towards the left and right hand. So we're going to go outside line here in towards chicane. It's going to be so close here. We're going to have to lift it, not hit the wall, and we just about make it through there. Rich makes sure an overtake, and this is not going to be over though, because Daniel Ricciardo now with the DRS is going to close back in on us here. As you can see now with that DRS, he's coming at us. We've got Rich Mix, we've got overtake. We're literally using everything we've got in this Grand Prix, and Ricciardo now goes towards the outside line. We defend the inside line. We break a little bit later though into that corner, and that is us up into 14th place, and that is an epic battle for a pointless position really in this Grand Prix. Yeah, on to lap 9 of the Grand Prix now. We've been pulling away from Daniel Ricciardo, so it's quite clear that Ricciardo has got some sort of mechanical issue. For us though, we have set our personal best lap. It's a 1:47.0, so you know we're making very, very big gains in this race. You know, don't respect. But now we're going in towards the middle sector once again here, a little bit deep into the corner there, just couldn't quite carry the speed. And then as we go in towards the castle section, yeah, that's when my race just that's when I lost my cool. I actually just decided to end it there. Do you know what? I really couldn't be bothered to just carry on, because I'd have to unbrake myself from the castle section. My pace was terrible, and yeah, I just gave up at that point. So that was pretty much Baku in a nutshell. My engine was terrible, and the weekend was just absolutely dreadful. I had no pace. I couldn't even catch up to Norris in P14. And as soon as I'd hit the wall, I'd have to get a new front wing. And to be honest, I didn't want to just, like, obviously I'd have to, you know, stop myself from being barged up and all that. But at the end of the day, like in that situation, I knew I wasn't going to score any points. I just genuinely didn't see the point in me pitting for a new front wing and just carrying on. That's kind of what I thought about it. So yeah, maybe I could have just carried on and gone to the end, but then why would I waste my time driving if, you know, I'm not going to get anywhere really, unless there was a safety car. But at the end of the day, like, I wasn't going to score points, let's face it. Like, I couldn't even keep up with the guys in front. I was struggling to hold off a Williams car, for goodness sake. So how on earth was I meant to keep up with the likes of Haas, Racing Point, Renault? It just wasn't going to work. So I just gave up at that point. So it's not a well done Baku, it's screw you Baku. But as you can see then, Vettel wins the Grand Prix ahead of Hamilton and Bottas. Charles Leclerc finishes in P4 ahead of Verstappen. Devon Bullsack with a great job there, splitting the Red Bull cars, as Sergio Perez finishes in 8th ahead of the two Haas cars in P9 and 10 there. My teammate Norris only finished in 13th place. Hulkenberg only finished in 11th. So you can see the Renault-powered cars really just didn't perform in that race. As you can see, Vettel leads the championship by 18 points now, which is something I didn't think I'd ever be saying in my life, because Vettel leading a championship, haha, probably bottle it. In the Constructors' Championship, you can see here that Racing Point are now 38 points, and they're kind of who we're like focusing on. No interviews actually, funnily enough, in the end of this round, but that is going to tailor off what was probably the worst career mode episode I think I've probably ever done, and I lost a lot of reputation for that as well. But also, we're going to get our first bit of contract negotiation as Emma literally slags me off, saying, what on earth was that performance? This is a bumper cars at a fairground. bitch, I couldn't keep up with anyone, love. But anyway, we're going to have a look at the contract negotiations and try and start it off, and let's see where we are. And you can see that my contract value versus my value is right up here. So let's have a look and see what we can do. Now, I actually went a little bit lenient on myself here. So I decided to go with race bonus, so 50% more resource points per race, and also minor upgrade time reduced by 1 week. I didn't go for any simultaneous development. I decided to go for an expected race position, P9, and then qualifying position 16th, as well as those two. And it turns out that the bar literally did not move up. It just stayed where it was. Normally when you do stuff like that, it just flies up and you run out of contract value. So when I next have a contract value, I'll know to put loads on because it will probably end up actually working. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. If you guys have enjoyed it, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe if you're new around here as well. We also purchase a major chassis upgrade as well. But until then, guys, I will see you for the next episode where hopefully I don't crash millions of times and actually, yeah, can get somewhere. Take care all.